The first time I saw her, she was suspended in a column of pale blue containment light. I had boarded the Kethari Dominion cruiser as part of a salvage operation. Officially, the Terran Union called it a recovery mission. Unofficially, it was looting the remains of a battlefield before the Dominion's reinforcements arrived. The Kethari were notorious slavers. Elegant ships. Brutal politics. Their cruiser had been disabled during a border skirmish with an unknown faction. Most of the crew was dead. Power flickered in pulses through the corridors, casting long skeletal shadows across the metal walls. That's when I found Bay 12. The door had partially sealed. I forced it open manually. The smell hit me first, ozone and sterile air. Then I saw her. She wasn't human. She stood nearly my height, slender but strong-looking, her skin faintly luminous like moonlight underwater. Bioluminescent patterns traced her arms and neck in shifting constellations. Her eyes were silver, not reflective, but alive, as though stars were burning behind them. Energy shackles bound her wrists and ankles. She wasn't afraid. She was watching me. A panel on the containment column flickered to life, auto-translating Dominion text. Species, Erethi. Status, high-value biopsionic asset. Condition, restrained. Biopsionic. Great. I sighed. You're not cargo. Her head tilted slightly. Then I heard a voice, not in the air, but inside my skull. You are not Kethari. I froze. Yeah, I muttered. Human. Terran Union. A pause. You are not here to extract genetic material. That, was concerning. No, I said slowly. I'm here to strip this ship for parts. Didn't know it came with prisoners. Her eyes studied me. No blinking. Just steady focus. Release me. Straight to the point. That depends, I replied. Are you going to melt my brain if I do? A faint ripple of light passed over her skin. If I wished you harm, you would not be speaking. Fair. I checked the energy shackles. Military grade. Linked to the cruiser's core. If I shut down the containment without disabling the dampeners properly, I might vaporize her. Give me a minute, I said. Her gaze softened, barely. You are different. From what? The others. That wasn't hard. It took me 15 minutes to reroute auxiliary power and manually unlock the restraints. When the column flickered and dissolved, she stepped forward. Free. The shackles clattered to the floor. She didn't run. She didn't attack. She simply stood there, breathing for the first time without restriction. The light patterns on her skin brightened. Then she looked at me and said, this time aloud, her voice layered and harmonic. You have given me back my autonomy. Her words were careful, as if she were shaping each one from memory. I have. She stepped closer. Up close, the air around her hummed faintly. Among my people, she said, such an act is not forgotten. Middle, a debt beyond understanding. Her name was Saliri. The Erethi, she explained as we moved through the ship toward my shuttle, were not warriors. They were navigators. Sensitives. Their kind could perceive gravitational currents the way humans sensed wind. The Dominion had captured her during a diplomatic mission. They sought to use my mind, she said quietly, to predict star paths, to anticipate ambushes. And you didn't cooperate. Her eyes shimmered faintly. I did not. That earned my respect. We reached my shuttle just as distant energy signatures pinged on my scanner. Dominion reinforcements, I muttered. We need to leave. Now. She placed a hand on the hull of my ship. The bioluminescent patterns flared brighter. The shuttle shuddered. What are you doing? I am listening. To what? The space between. I had no time to argue. I launched. 3 Dominion interceptors dropped from subspace behind us. My shuttle wasn't built for combat.
Hang on, I said.
I am not fragile, human. I'm Marcus. She nodded slightly. Marcus. Missiles locked onto us. Then something impossible happened. Saliri closed her eyes. The stars outside the viewport shifted. Not physically, but my perception twisted. Lines of invisible current became visible, like glowing rivers through space. She reached forward slightly. Turn 30 degrees port. Now. I did. A missile passed where we had been. Down 2 degrees. Another missed. The interceptors fired again. She moved her hand gently. Forward. I followed her instructions instinctively. We slipped between gravitational eddies I hadn't even known existed. The Dominion ships collided with unstable microcurrents and were flung off course. Within seconds, we were clear. I stared at her. You just threaded us through gravitational turbulence like it was a back alley shortcut. Her eyes opened. For me, it is visible. For us, it's physics equations. She studied me. You trusted me. Didn't have much choice. A faint expression touched her face. Still. The problem. 2 days later, we reached a neutral trade station. That's when we learned the truth. The Dominion wasn't just looking for a prisoner. They had issued a sector-wide bounty. Reward, 3 million credits. Target, Erethi Navigator, alive. Well, I muttered, staring at the terminal. You're popular. Saliri stood beside me, silent.
They will not stop, she said. No.
I could walk away.
Turn her in.
3 million credits would buy a lot of upgrades. A lot of security. Instead, I shut off the terminal. They don't get you back. She looked at me carefully. You owe me nothing. I know. Why? I shrugged. Humans have a thing about slavers. Her light patterns shifted, warmer somehow. Among my people, she said softly, when one restores another's freedom, a bond is formed. That sounds serious. It is. She stepped closer. I swore to repay you in my own way. I laughed lightly. You already saved my ship. That was instinct. And this isn't.
Her gaze held mine.
No. The pursuit. They found us 3 days later.
Not Dominion this time.
Bounty hunters.
Human.
Our own species. That stung more. They boarded the station and locked down our docking bay. 5 armed mercs. Hand over the alien, their leader said over comms. No one gets hurt. Saliri stood beside me in the cargo hold. You may surrender me, she said calmly. Not happening. Marcus. Not happening. The air vibrated faintly. You would risk your life.
Yeah.
She stepped forward, luminous markings blazing brighter than I'd ever seen. Then I will repay my debt. The mercs breached the outer hatch. Gunfire erupted. I ducked behind cargo crates, returning fire. Then Saliri walked forward. Not running. Walking. Bullets slowed. Not stopped, slowed. As though space itself thickened around her. The mercs hesitated. Stand down, she said, not loudly, but the sound carried. The air warped. One by one, their weapons fell from their hands. They staggered back, disoriented. She wasn't hurting them. She was bending perception. Gravity. Momentum. The lead merc tried to raise a sidearm. She lifted a single hand. He froze, not paralyzed, but overwhelmed, eyes wide as if staring into something vast and incomprehensible. Leave, she said. They fled. Silence fell over the docking bay. I stared at her. You could have done that on the cruiser. Yes. Then why didn't you? She turned toward me. Because power used in anger scars the one who wields it. That answer hit harder than any display of force. The real repayment. Later, aboard my shuttle as we prepared to leave the station, I asked the question that had been sitting in the back of my mind. When you said you'd repay me, what did you mean? She stepped closer. Not threatening. Not intimate. Intent. My people cannot remain long in regions of unstable gravitational flux without guidance. The Dominion destabilized our home sector. Our navigators were captured. You want to go home? Yes. And I cannot guide an entire fleet alone. I frowned. I'm not exactly biopsionic.
No.
She placed a hand lightly against my chest. Her touch was warm. Not hot, but resonant. I have observed you. Should I be worried? You are adaptive, intuitive. You trust beyond logic. Some would call that reckless. Her eyes brightened. Your neural patterns respond unusually well to psionic proximity. I'm sorry. You can perceive faint gravitational variations unconsciously. It is rare. You're saying I got hidden space magic potential? I am saying, she corrected gently, that you could learn. The realization settled slowly. You want me to help you rebuild your people's navigation network? Yes. That's your repayment? Her voice softened. You gave me back my autonomy. I will give you purpose beyond survival. I leaned back in my chair. 3 million credits suddenly seemed small. What happens if we fail? Then we drift. And if we succeed, then humanity will have allies who see the stars not as territory, but as pathways. I exhaled slowly. All right, I said. Teach me. Ending. A new constellation. Training with Salvager wasn't like learning a skill. It was like learning to notice something that had always been there. She guided my focus, not with commands, but with presence. Close your eyes, she would say. Feel the pull between objects. At first, I felt nothing. Then subtle shifts, like pressure changes before a storm. Weeks passed. I began anticipating microcurrents. Not consciously, but instinctively. We plotted a course toward the fractured Arethi sector. Dominion patrols still roamed the edges. But this time, I wasn't flying blind. Left, I said softly as we approached a debris field. Salvager watched me carefully. Why? Feels tight on the right. She smiled faintly. You are beginning to see. When we finally reached the Arethi home system, what remained of their fleet drifted in cautious formation. Damaged. Leaderless. Salvager stepped forward onto the bridge platform. Her bioluminescence flared like a rising sun. She projected, not words but reassurance. Recognition. Hope. The Arethi ships responded. Lights ignited one by one across the fleet. She turned to me. They will accept you. As what? She studied me. Not as master. Not as savior. Her hand extended. As partner. I took it. In that moment, I understood her repayment. It wasn't loyalty. It wasn't devotion. It wasn't something small. She had given me something greater than credits, greater than safety. She had given me a place in something vast. A future where humans weren't just survivors or soldiers, but navigators of a shared galaxy. As the Arethi fleet aligned, their ships forming living constellations around us, Salvager's voice echoed gently in my mind. You restored my freedom. Now, we chart new paths together. And for the first time since I'd left Earth, I didn't feel like a drifter. I felt like I belonged among the stars.